بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين صدق الله العظيم. Over the last 2 weeks, we had discussed the Fazail of Makkah Sharif. And we had mentioned that how Kaaba Sharif was built. We had mentioned what a Mubarak place this is, and this is a place of Hidayat. And then we had made mention, Fihi ayatum bayinat, clear signs that take a person to the recognition of Allah. And amongst those are Maqamu Ibrahim. And then we mentioned what a place of safety Allah had made Makkah Sharif. وَمَنْ دَخَلَهُ كَانَ آمِنًا. Nobody will touch anyone in Makkatul Mukarramah up to this day. One day we were in the lifts of Makkah Sharif, and it was very busy period at that time. It was the time of Umrah. So we were coming, one lady was in the wheelchair, and her son was pushing her. And those people that work over there also, they also push the wheelchairs. And we know how sometimes they are rough also. So now there's one lift, and how many wheelchairs waiting to get into that lift. So this person that was there with his mother, he was waiting first. So the other person came, and somehow he pushed in, and he had a fight, and he started pulling this wheelchair. So that person that was there with his mother, they couldn't move him. So he got into the lift. So that person is telling him now, the two of them are fighting. They say, I will show you outside the haram. When I come out of the masjid, then we will fight outside there. When they reached the bottom floor and they came out, the person that was working, not the one that was pushing his mother, he tells him that here this is a place of Allah Ta'ala. I can't fight here. I'll show you I'm a better person than you. I'm not going to fight with you, and I'm going to go away. And there was no fight. And then he went away from there. What a place of safety Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has made Makkah Sharif. And then Allah Ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. One day two people, before we go here, one day two people, they were fighting in Mina. So two people, they're fighting now outside the toilets. Now we know the queues that are waiting over there. And these two people now, they're fighting, they're quarreling with one another. One person is now in the toilet. So the one that is in the toilet now, from there he's saying, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. From inside the toilet. So these type of things also happen over there. Then Allah Ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Allah has made Hajj compulsory upon people. And for who? Lillah. See, here also Allah Ta'ala brought the shart. Allah Ta'ala says that the Hajj must be for Allah Ta'ala. If you want that Hajj to be accepted, so Hajj has been made compulsory upon people for the pleasure of Allah. Whoever has the ability and whoever has the means to perform Hajj, he must have sufficient means to buy his ticket to go to Makkah Sharif. He must have sufficient means for his accommodation, for his food in Makkatul Mukarramah. And at the same time, he must have sufficient means for his family that he's leaving behind at home. Not that they are in need and he's, mashallah, performing Hajj over there. Today also nowadays, many people are asking this question. It comes here to the iftar, that can women, if they don't have mahram, can they go for Hajj, or they're not permitted to go for Hajj? If a woman doesn't have a mahram, it's not permissible for her to go for Hajj. There are different views over here. If a lady, she has the means to go for Hajj, she has to look for a mahram. And she must be able to pay for her own expenses, and she must be able to pay the expenses of a mahram as well. She must pay his expense, and she must take him for Hajj if she wants to go for Hajj. So this is the ruling. According to other fuqaha, they say no. The moment a lady has the means of going for Hajj for herself, Hajj becomes fard. Now she doesn't have a mahram. So because she doesn't have a mahram, she cannot go for Hajj. But immediately she must make a wasiyat in her will that the day that I pass away, Hajj badal must be made on my behalf. And somebody must then perform Hajj on her behalf. So Allah Ta'ala says that Hajj has been made obligatory upon the people for the pleasure of Allah who has the ability. So if a lady doesn't have the mahram, many ask the question, they say that there's a group of women going. Can they go in the group? No, maybe in the Shafi mazhab, maybe there it is permissible. But in the Hanafi mazhab, it is totally impermissible. If a person makes this arrangement, lady makes the arrangement and she goes for Hajj, she is also in guna. And that agent that helped her to make this arrangement, he is also in guna for making such an arrangement. So if everything is in order, person got his visa also, is able to go for Hajj, then Hajj becomes obligatory. And here we should be very careful that the niyat shouldn't move. That niyat must only and only be for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Zubaydah, the wife of Harun al-Rashid, what a great king Harun al-Rashid was. In that time in Makkah Sharif, there was no water that was easily available. Today, mashallah, everywhere you go, there's plenty of water available. But in those days, there was no water that was available. So they needed water. So Zubaydah, she said, that build the canal, the Nahr Zubaydah. And for approximately 800 to 900 years, people had benefited from Nahr Zubaydah. They drank water from Nahr Zubaydah. So when she called her engineers, and she told the engineers that I want to construct this river or this canal, whatever you want to call it, this river, that to provide water for the Hujjaj. So they told her, you know what is going to cost you to build this? She said, it doesn't matter to me at all. She says that even if it means for every spade I have to pay 1 dinar, 1 gold coin, then for every spade I'm prepared to pay 1 gold coin, but let the Hujjaj have water. It is mentioned she got it constructed, and where it came from, perhaps this was coming from Taif. The water was coming from Taif right up to here, Makkah Sharif, and 800 to 900 years people benefited. Later on she passed away, so her Khadima, the lady that was making her khidmat, she saw her in a dream, and in the dream she says she's enjoying in Jannah. She says, I knew it, that so many people benefited from that water. How can it be such that you don't enjoy in Jannah? And up to this day, mashallah, there are people, when you're coming from Mina, when you're coming back to Azizia after Hajj is over, you'll see the Arabs, they're waiting there. They're all waiting with packets. And in the packets they have water. And they're offering the Hujjaj water. And that is what is within their ability they are doing. And though that Allah gave a lot of wealth, those huge trucks, horse and trailers, refrigerated, and they parked in Mina for 3 days. Somebody is throwing laban, somebody is throwing water. What hearts Allah Ta'ala has given them. And how they make khidmat of those Hujjaj that come and they perform the Hajj. Only Allah Ta'ala can give them the reward for what they have done. So the wife of Harun Rashid, so she saw her in Jannah, and she said, I knew it. She said, on what basis? Because of Nahr Zubaydah. She said, no, not because of Nahr Zubaydah. When I presented that to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, oh Allah, I had this dug, and so many Hujjaj had benefited from this. What did Allah Ta'ala say? Allah Ta'ala said, did you use your own money? You didn't use your own money. This is the public money that you use. So the reward is for the public. This reward is not for you. So then the Khadima asked her, she said that, on what basis Allah Ta'ala made your maghfirat? Allah Ta'ala gave you Jannatul Firdaus. Then she said that there were certain niyats that I had. And these niyats, I kept it a secret. Only I knew and Allah Ta'ala knew. On that basis, Allah Ta'ala made my maghfirat. And according to one narration, our Shaykh explained, he said that once she wanted to drink water. So she told the Khadima, bring the water for me. So the water was brought. When the water was brought, the adhan was called out. So normally the ladies, when they're in the house, the scarf sometimes slips away. It falls back or something, even if they have the scarf on their head. So what she did, she didn't drink the water. So much of azamat, so much of respect for the adhan she had. She immediately started putting her scarf right. And after putting her scarf right, she responded to the adhan. When the adhan was completed, then she drank that water. On that basis, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala made her maghfirat. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gave her Jannah. So see ikhlas and sincerity. How Allah Tabaraka, the moment somebody else becomes a partner in any action of ours, in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, zero. Everything is gone. There was one great Shaykh al-Hadith, Maulana Muhammad Jalandhari Saheb Rahmatullah Alayhi. So great Shaykh al-Hadith, and he was teaching Hadith. So one day he's teaching Bukhari Sharif. As he's teaching Bukhari Sharif, in Bukhari Sharif and in the big kitabs of Hadith, you'll always get the ishkal and the jawab, a little objection, so to say, where you need clarification. And then there's a response to that as well. So whilst he was teaching, he came to one spot of Bukhari Sharif and he got stuck. Now it happens sometimes you're making tarjuma of Quran Sharif. You know it so well, you come there and you get stuck. A person can be the best hafiz of Quran. He's reading Quran Sharif. He'll come to the easiest spot and he'll get stuck. Why? This is kalam and mu'jiz. That Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala's kalam. That this is a mu'jiza that was given to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It renders a person helpless. That when Allah wants you to read, you will read. When Allah Ta'ala wants you to stop, it will stop. Hazrat Hakim Saheb Rahmatullah Alayhi, it is mentioned that he used to wake up 2-3 in the morning. And when he used to wake up at that part of the morning, he used to start writing ash'ar. And this continued for one part of his life. After some time, this thing completely stopped. And there was no ash'ar. Nothing came into his heart again. So he realized this is from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. When Allah Ta'ala wants to inspire, it will happen. When Allah wants it to stop, then it's going to stop. So that day also, he was teaching Bukhari Sharif. He came to that spot. He got stuck. When he got stuck, imagine now, this is ikhlas. So he told the student that there's an ishkal over here. There's an objection over here. There's a response to it as well. I don't know. I can't remember the objection. I can't remember the response. If you can remember, imagine the ustad, the great Shaykh al-Hadith, he's telling the student, if you know what it is, then you tell me. MashaAllah, there are those students that study the kitab before they come to class also. Allah Ta'ala has blessed some students, and especially in the previous days. So they also didn't know the answer. So then he thinks to himself, there was a student of mine. And this student of mine is currently teaching in the madrasa. And that student who studied Bukhari by me, he has great istidad, great potential. Let me go and ask my student. So imagine now for the ustad to come from the top position and then to go down to the student and then ask the student the question. So as he's coming down to the class, the children, they saw that Sheikh Saheb is coming. So when they saw Sheikh is coming, they ran to the class, they told him that, told the Ustad, the Sheikh is coming. So the Ustad immediately got up, that was his Ustad. So he walked out. So the two of them, they met in the corridor somewhere. So he said, see, I'm teaching Bukhari Sharif. And I came to this part, I forgot the Ishkal. I forgot the Jawab also. That if you remember, you tell me what it is. So he said, Hazrat, when you taught us, look at the adab he had. He said, Hazrat, when you taught us Bukhari Sharif, then this was the Ishkal you explained to us, and this was the Jawab that you gave us. So then he went back to the class and he explained it. So this is that level of ikhlas. Haji Imdadullah Saheb Muhajir Makki Rahmatullah Alayh. Haji Saheb was such a great sheikh. He wasn't a sanadi alim like how we know. Ulama go to madrasa, they study, they get a sanad. No, he was not like that. But those that were sanadi ulama, those that were great mashayikh, he was their sheikh. That was the position Allah Ta'ala had given Haji Saheb Rahmatullah Alayh. Haji Imdadullah Saheb Rahmatullah Alayh, initially in his life, he never used to make people bay'at. When people used to come to take bay'at to him, that we want to pledge allegiance to you, Haji Saheb, he used to say, no, I'm not prepared to make you bay'at. People asked later on, they saw that he's making everyone bay'at. So they asked Haji Saheb Rahmatullah Alayh, they said that, Haji Saheb, why, how, what's the difference? Before you used to say no. Now anybody and everybody that come, you make them bay'at. So Haji Saheb explained, he said, see, that when you make a person bay'at, I used to fear that his amal, if it's not right, because I'm the sheikh, I got to keep an eye on him. If his amal are not right, tomorrow in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, I'm going to be answerable for this. That is why I never used to make anyone bay'at. But now the time has came, Allah Ta'ala put it in my heart, I might be in trouble on the day of Qiyamah. And when I'm in trouble on the day of Qiyamah, that murid of mine, he might intercede for me. Which our sheikh explains, he says, that it will happen perhaps on the day of Qiyamah, that the status of the murid is very, very high. And the sheikh hasn't even reached there. But do you think the murid is going to leave his sheikh? He will pull his sheikh and he will take him up. And if the sheikh is very, very high and the murid is left behind, do you think the sheikh is going to leave his murid? He will pull his murid and he'll take his murid right to the top. So there's great benefit in this part of tasawwuf also. That look at the ikhlas of Haji Imdadullah Saheb Rahmatullah Alayh. So this ikhlas is a very, very great thing. It is mentioned in India at one time, one river, I think it was the Jamna river, which they call the Ganges. So the Jamna river was flooded. One person, he had to cross over, he had to get to the other side of the river, he had some very important work. But because of floods, he couldn't get onto the other side. So he was now pareshan, he was restless. So somebody told him, no, there's one buzruk there. Go and ask him, he'll sort your matter out for you. So he went to the buzruk, he said, you know what, I need to get to the other side of the river. So the buzruk said, what do you want me to do? If you want to get to the other side, what must I do? So he said, no, please help me, I want to get to the other side of the river. So the buzruk told him that go to the river and address the river. So this Mufti Ahmad Saheb Khanpuri Rahmatullah Damud Barakatum also mentioned this, and in one of the other kitabs I read this incident as well. So he went to the river, so he said, tell the river, I asked you in the name of that person that never ate food in his whole life, and that person that never had relations with his wife his entire life. That person went, he instructed the river, addressed the river in the name of that person. Never ate food in his whole life, never had relations with his wife in his whole life. So the river calmed down immediately. He crossed onto the other side, his work got done. But now the wife that was there, she got very, very angry. You never eat food your whole life, that's your problem. But why I'm cooking here every day? And secondly, all these children, 7, 8 children, whatever are here, where they came from? If you never had relations with me, where these children came from? So she got very angry. So then what he said? He said, see, as long as I ate the food that you prepared, I ate it not to fulfill my desire. Here also there was ikhlas. I ate the food for the pleasure of Allah so that I get strength. Inna li jasadika alayka haqqa. That your body also got a right over you. And when I had relations with you, that relation was not to fulfill my desire, but wa inna li zawjika alayka haqqa. That your wife also got a right over you. So I fulfill your right there. So when I did this also, it was done for the pleasure of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala accepted that need of that particular person when he made dua in this way. So this level of ikhlas is very, very important in the life of a person. As Ali radiallahu anhu was on the battlefield, one kafir, he got onto Ali radiallahu anhu got on top of the kafir. He's on the verge of killing him. The kafir spat on the face of Ali radiallahu anhu. What level of ikhlas? He got up from there and he walked away. Ali radiallahu anhu just walked away from there. So later on the kafir went to him. He said that you had the opportunity to kill me and you got up from there and you walked away. what was the reason for this? He said, when I was killing you for the first time, it was for Allah. When I was ready to kill you for the second time, it was because of my anger. You spat on my face. So I left you and I walked away. So, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. This Hajj that is obligatory upon the people, that is also for the pleasure of Allah. And then Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. That person that rejects this compulsion of Hajj, that he does not accept the compulsion of Hajj, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِي. Allah is independent. Allah Ta'ala is not in need of anyone. Allah is independent from the entire universe. That if the whole world, we make ibadat of Allah Ta'ala, like the most pious person, the whole world becomes muttaqi. This will not increase the treasures of Allah Ta'ala one bit. And if the whole world, we disobey Allah Ta'ala to the greatest extent, this will not decrease the treasures of Allah Ta'ala one. Allah is ghani. Allah is totally independent. Allah is samad. Allah Ta'ala alladhi yahtaju ilayhi kullu ahad. That being everyone is in need of Allah Ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala walam yahtaj ila ahad. Allah Ta'ala is not in need of anyone. Everyone is in need of Allah, and Allah is not in need of anybody. Allah Ta'ala is bare niyaz. Allah Ta'ala is samad. It is mentioned in the hadith, La sarurata fil Islam. Sarura actually means that to cut off, to abandon. That person that abandons this compulsion of Hajj, La sarurata fil Islam, he got nothing to do with Islam. His link with Islam has been cut off. Another meaning to this hadith also is, a person, he has to get married. It is a sunnat of Nabi alayhi salam. There are certain times when getting married becomes wajib also. The level goes one up also. If a person, there's a need, and a person, there's a fear he's going to get involved in guna, it becomes wajib for a person to get married. But under normal circumstances, it's a sunnat of Nabi alayhi salam. If a person leaves the sunnah and he goes into the jungles and he lives like how the monks live, monasticism, he lives like that, La sarurata fil Islam, he is cut off from Islam. His link has been cut off with Islam. Our deen is a very, very moderate deen. That is why everything that we will do in deen, we do it in moderation. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. This is a very moderate ummah. Everything we do in a balanced way, we do in the correct way. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala, in his time, he said, I want to send people out to all the localities. And all those people that haven't performed the Hajj, he must expose all these people. They must go to these localities. They must expose all the people that haven't performed Hajj. He says, why? He says, I want to impose the jizya upon them. Jizya is not for the Muslims. The kuffar, they pay jizya, they pay tax to the Muslim government. What is the indication here? That they have lost the iman. And then Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu used to say, Ma hum bi muslimin, ma hum bi muslimin. That these people are not Muslims any longer. They have rejected Hajj, they are not performing Hajj. Now when I was in Johannesburg, one person that is with Saheb, he was explaining to me, he says somebody came to them. And he said, see, my name hasn't come out in the list to perform Hajj. But I'm desperate. Myself and my wife, we want to perform Hajj. So he said, I'm prepared to pay 1 million rand. 1 million rand just for the two of us. You all allow us, we'll give you all 1 million rand, you all take the rest of the money. So they told him that you got 1 million rand to perform Hajj. But there's so many people out there that haven't performed Hajj, they don't have money. Their names have come out in the list, but they don't have sufficient fund. Rather fulfill the needs of all those people. Perhaps this was a nafil Hajj because Allah has given him so much. So they said fulfill the needs of those people and let those people go for Hajj. In what hadith Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned in regards to Hajj, Man lam tahbisu hajatun zahiratun aw maradun habisun aw sultanun jairun walam yahujja falyamut in sha'a yahudiya wa in sha'a nasraniya. That person, that an apparent need does not hold him back from performing Hajj. He doesn't have a genuine need which is recognized in Sharia that holds him back from performing Hajj. Or a person, he doesn't have such an illness that prevents him from performing Hajj. Or maradun habisun, or sultanun jairun. Or there isn't a oppressive king that is holding him back, not allowing him to perform Hajj. And this person, in spite of this, he doesn't perform Hajj. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, فَلْيَمُتْ إِنْ شَاءَ يَهُودِيًّا. He can die as a Jew if he wants. وَإِنْ شَاءَ نَصْرَانِيًّا. If he wants, he can die as a Christian. That is his choice totally. But Hajj, when it is compulsory, we should make dua. If a person has the means, immediately he should go for Hajj. Man arad al-hajj falyata'ajjal. He should hasten, and a person should go for Hajj. He shouldn't delay this. And when a person goes for Hajj, even if it is 100,000, even if it is 150,000, if a person has saved and he goes for Hajj, when you come back from Hajj, see the barakat Allah will give you in your life. See how much more than what you spend, Allah Ta'ala will give a person in his life. Umrah upon Umrah, it removes poverty. poverty. Hajj upon Hajj is the most poverty. It is written in the kitabs at least once in 5 years. Once in 5 years, not all the time, because there's so many people in need, fulfill the needs of people. But once in 5 years, a person should go for Umrah. He should try and go and visit Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every 5 years, he should try and do this. So Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ عَنِ الْعَالَمِينَ. Allah is independent from the world. It is mentioned also, I'll finish off on this. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that this Hajj, it is like jihad. When a person, he goes in jihad, he spends his money and he goes in jihad. A person, he's ready to give his life. When a person goes for Hajj, how much of money we have to spend to go for Hajj? And secondly, we go through difficulty everywhere. It's not easy for a person. The elderly people that come for Hajj, once I met one person in the haram, perhaps he was about 90 years old, and he's walking with a stick, and his back was bent, fully bent, and he's walking on his own. So I asked him, I said, Aapke saath koi hai ya nahi? Is there anybody that is with you, or you on your own? I felt so pity for him. He said, Mere saath mera Allah hai. My Allah is with me. And how many of them, they come to pass away. They come there to Makkah Sharif at that part of their life. Their whole life saving, they come there. At that time, they come to pass away. Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, she asked Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, that should we not, ala nakhruju ma'aka fanujahid, should we not come out with you and make jihad in the path of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala? فَإِنِّي لَا أَرَى عَمَلًا فِي الْقُرْآنِ أَفْضَلَ مِنَ الْجِهَادِ. I didn't see any amal that is in the Quran that is more virtuous than making jihad in the path of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. What Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said? He said, La. ولكن أحسن الجهاد وأجمله الحج حج مبرور. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the most beautiful type of jihad, the best type of jihad for women, this is Hajj. Hajjum Mabrur, an accepted Hajj, that is the best type of jihad. In another hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, Ni'mal jihad wal Hajj, that what an excellent jihad is that a person performs Hajj. In another hadith, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told a woman, Jihadukunna al Hajj, that your jihad, you go and perform Hajj, that is jihad for you. And Hazrat Hussein bin Ali radiallahu anh says that one elderly person, or one person that was weak-minded, that was very, very weak, he came to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, I want to make jihad. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, Halumma ila jihadin la shawkata fi, that strive in that jihad where there is no difficulty. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said Hajj, that this is the jihad in which there is no difficulty, go for Hajj. One woman, she heard Nabi alayhi salam is going for Hajj. So when she heard Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going for Hajj, she sent a message with her husband that tell Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I also want to come for Hajj. So take me also. So the husband said, I don't have a conveyance for you. So the wife said, you have a camel, so take me on the camel. So the husband said, the camel that I have, we will be sharing. I will also be riding that camel, and your son will also be riding the camel. So she said, but you have a second camel. So he said, the second camel I've given in the path of Allah. So because I've given it in the path of Allah, the second camel we cannot use. So she said, you got dates. So these dates, the khajur that you got, sell the khajur, we'll use that money and go for Hajj. He said that when I'm gone for Hajj, that is your provision. I cannot sell this. So she was not able to go for Hajj. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam went for Hajj, and Nabi alayhi salam returned from Hajj. When he came back from Hajj, look how sincere she was, that she sent a message to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. She tells her husband, go and ask Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam that is there any amal besides accepting Islam that is equal to Hajj. So the husband goes to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He says, Ya Rasulullah, my wife sent salam to you. This is the entire incident that had transpired. What he explained about the camels and about the dates and all this, he explained to Nabi alayhi salam. And then he says, Ya Rasulullah, my wife wants to know, is there any amal besides accepting Islam that is equal to Hajj? So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the first thing he told him, he said, that camel that you had given in the path of Allah, she could have used that for Hajj, because this is also going out in the path of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he smiled. And what did he say? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that performing Umrah in the month of Ramadan, that is equated to performing Hajj with me. So how great a person gets the tawfiq of performing Umrah in the month of Ramadan, that is also equal to Hajj. Mufti Muhammad Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi, one day his daughter came to him, and she tells her father, Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi, that I want to perform Hajj. So Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi says, you're not genuine, you're not serious about it. So she said, no, I'm serious, I want to perform Hajj. So the Mufti Saheb asked her, he said that how much money you got, how much you saved for Hajj? So she said, no, I haven't saved anything for Hajj. So Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi told her, he said, if you haven't saved anything for Hajj, it's an indication you're not genuine, you don't want to go for Hajj, otherwise you'd have been saving for Hajj. So immediately she got the point from there. Thereafter she went and perhaps she started saving. Not very long after that, she didn't perform Hajj and she passed away. When she passed away, Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi, they were cleaning her drawer. When they were cleaning her cupboards, her drawers, they found one bag. And in that bag on the top, it was written Hajj. And in there, whatever money she could save, she put in that bag. So how happy the father got, number one. That my daughter, when I gave her nasihat that she must save for Hajj, immediately she took out a bag, she wrote on that bag Hajj, and she started putting money. All of us, we can do this. Even now, we can start it immediately. Started putting money in there. And thereafter, a few years or whatever time it must have been, Mufti Shafi Saheb Rahmatullah went for Hajj. When he went for Hajj, when he was on Jabal Rahmat, when he was in Arafat, Mufti Shafi Saheb Rahmatullah fell off to sleep. And there he had a dream. And what does he see? His daughter is on top of Jabal Rahmat. How Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, every year, person that goes for Hajj and he passes away on the way, every year he gets the reward of a Haji. And that person that goes for Umrah, and if amata kutiba lahu ajrul mu'tamiri ila yawmil qiyamah, he gets the reward of a person making Umrah till the day of Qiyamah. Person goes in jihad, he passes on the way, he passes away. Kutiba lahu ajrul ghazi ila yawmil qiyamah. For him is the reward of one that makes jihad in the path of Allah till the day of Qiyamah. Mawlana Thanvi Rahmatullahi, he mentioned this. وَمَنْ يَخْرُجْ مِنْ بَيْتِهِ مُحَاجِرًا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. That person that comes out of his house, making hijrah to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning from Makkah Sharif to Medina Sharif, he is making hijrah. For who? For Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ثُمَّ يُدْرِكُ الْمَوْتِ. And then death comes to him. He didn't reach Medina. He was on the way to Medina. He passes away on the way. فَقَدْ وَقَعَ أَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. His reward has been established by Allah Ta'ala. He got the full reward of making that hijrah. From here, Mawlana Thanvi Rahmatullahi in his Bayan al-Quran, he takes out one masla of tasawwuf. And Mawlana Thanvi Rahmatullahi mentions here that if you want to reach Allah Ta'ala, you want your heart to be cleansed, you want to reach Allah Ta'ala, then just can continue on this path. And if Allah Ta'ala doesn't, Allah Ta'ala could either give it to a person in his lifetime. You become the wali of Allah in your life. If you don't get it in your lifetime, at the time of maut, when you are leaving the world, at that time Allah Ta'ala will give it to you. And if Allah doesn't give it to you there, then on the day of Qiyamah, you will be from amongst the awliya. Your islah has been totally made. So a person, when he is genuine, when he has this niyyah, when he has ikhlas, how far doesn't a person get? Allah Ta'ala give me the tawfiq and all of us the tawfiq of making amal, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم فاذكروني أذكركم أنا جليس من ذكرني दिल मेरा हो जाए एक मैदान हो तू ही तो और मेरे तन में बजाए आब वगिल दर्द दिल हो दर्द दिल गैर से बिल्कुल ही उठ जाए नजर तू ही तो आए नजर देखो जिधर ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम इलाही दिल में मेरे गैर का असर न रहे सिवाय तेरे किसी पर मेरी नजर न रहे तू कर बे खबर सारी खबरों से मुझको इलाही रहूं खबरदार तेरा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है आशिकों का मीना और जाम है Allah Jalla Jalaluhu Ta'ala Shanu Allah 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 iche shirin astenam shiro shakkar mi shavad janam tamam Allah 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 Allah, 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 Jalla Jalala. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله ولك الملك كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها فأنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم ارحمنا بترك المعاصي ولا تشقنا بمعصيتك. جزى الله عنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.